everyone. Welcome to the LovenStamps studio. My name is Meg, and I am excited to see you for an evening edition of the sort of Maker Mornings with Meg, but in the evening. We're meeting here for the Lovely Garden Sweet Escape, and if you are watching the playback, then of course this is, you know exactly what you're watching. If you are jumping in on the live video, then I am super excited to see you. So make sure either way that you stop by and say hi in the comments. Let me know where you're watching from. If you have the suite yet, if you're excited to be using it. I really very much have enjoyed putting these cards together for you guys. And one of my very favorite things about this particular set of projects is that we have the set of pieces that all go together. And so I've put together these curated kits here, which have cardstock and designer series paper and masking paper, watercolor paper, embellishments, ribbon, string, like greetings, all the things. And with the PDF tutorial for all of our cards tonight, plus the bonus one that I've shared on Maker Mornings with Meg already. And so if you are looking for one of these kits, they are still available. You can use the link in the video description or in the comments to go ahead and pick one up. Or if you were looking just for the supply link to fill in just little supplies that you might need here and there, then you can go ahead and click on those. But the idea of this class is to have a really fun gathering where we can get together and craft together. So the people who placed their orders and got their Sweet Escape packages in the mail already, if you want to get your kit out, you can. If you don't have a kit yet, really, it's not a big deal. You can make these cards with other things that you have on hand. There's a lot of techniques that we're going to go through, so you might find it useful to have these projects, but you might also be interested in getting your own kit. So if you have your kit in front of you, you can try stamping along. If you find that I'm moving too quickly for you, you might decide to go ahead and watch. And then when you sit down to stamp, you can use the directions and all the cutting things from the PDF and so forth, cut all your cardstock, and then you can watch, pause, do a little stamping, watch, pause, do a little stamping, and so forth, whatever fits your style. So, all right. Well, with all of that, hey Lynn, oh, thanks for saying hi. I think I'm gonna get started showing you guys some projects. So let's switch our camera over here. And if you're a regular Maker Mornings with Meg morning time watcher, then make sure you say hi too. So I know that you guys are here. Oh, hey Lori, thanks. Whew. Way to fill in that gap. So, all right. So what you're gonna do is go ahead and turn your projects to turn your papers here. There's the supply list to our first project. And usually when I do Maker Mornings with Meg, I don't always show you the finished card first. I kind of show you as we go. We build it together. But I think tonight I'm going to go ahead and we're going to show you the finished card so you know where we're going, especially if you're stamping along. And then you guys will have a better idea of kind of what's going on as we move. So, all right. So this is the first card. It is the Masking to Create Layers card. And I have here sorry, my camera keeps moving, a half sheet of fresh freesia cardstock. I'm going to go ahead and fold this in half. And we have then a layer of watercolor paper and a layer of designer series paper. So this is out of the Lovely Garden designer series paper, which has all of these really pretty patterns and so forth, fronts and backs. And I want to use this as just a layer. So we're going to actually stick this down here like this, but that would be a really sad way to use a lot of designer series paper, right? So instead, what we're going to do is we're going to take this piece and we're going to pull in the dies from our Thankful Garden stamp die set here. And we're going to go ahead and do some die cutting. We're going to die cut that, pretend that I've done that. We're going to move them over and die cut again. So now, through the magic of television, we have all of these leaves here, which we can use on other projects. The card kit for this, the whole project kit makes many, many cards. You get 24 sheets of cardstock in it, so you've got a whole suite worth of great coordinating colors. I'm going to show you 5 different versions of cards tonight, and so you can mix and match and make as many of them as you like and then expand your own. So this is going to be our background. And I'm going to go ahead and just attach this now. so that we have it set. And then I'm going to, we're going to get started here on our foreground layer for this card. All right, so let's stick that down. Okay, now we'll set that aside because we have now our watercolor paper. And what I want to do for this is go ahead and add some color to this. So I'm going to start off by using our masks. And the masks have some things to know about them. So first of all, I'm shuffling them here to put them in order. They have a divot at the top corner like this. So if you're using them this way, the divot's going to be kind of at the top right. If you're using them this way, the divot's going to be sort of at the top left, or side right, top left, however you're going to use them, okay? I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to start off with this first one here. And I'm going to do mask number 1. They have a little number next to them, which is actually printed on the die, which is super helpful. And I realized I wanted to grab some fresh grid paper here. So when you're working with water and you're working with blending brushes and masks, you probably want to have some fresh grid paper, or even use your glass mat, depending on what you have handy, so that you're not smearing color from things to things, because especially with watercolor paper, a little bit of ink on your fingers or on the table or on your glass mat can get picked up, so, and then transferred where you don't want it. So we're going to start here with our fresh Freesia ink. Oh, I promised to show you the card. Okay, here's our card. And so what we're going to do is we're going to make this flower first, and then we're going to put this one here in the background. So I've got my blending brush and my fresh Freesia ink, and when I'm doing my background, I'm going to keep this pretty light. I've just inked my pad, so I'm going to tap off some of the extra ink there and not get this too dark here at the edge. Okay, so I'm going to go all the way around the edge, but I want to add just some color. And you guys seem pretty far away, so let's come in a little closer. All right, so there's going to be our first. Now I'm going to come in and take mask number 2. They have a little number at the corner, so super handy. And what this is going to do when you line it up, you can see these are really easy to line up. I'll give you some other tricks later for the ones that are harder to line up. And we're going to add more color here in a circular motion. Just sort of evening out that color, although honestly if it's not super even it doesn't matter. Now what I like to do is hold the mask and the paper in place and just peel this back just a little bit to look underneath and make sure that it is coming out where I want it. And then our next mask is going to fit here, and again this one's pretty easy to see where it should line up. Just think about turning and adjusting just a little bit. When we do our other masks, the ones that are the hellebores or whatever we're going to call them, those are a little bit trickier to line up, so I'll give you some tips for that. All right, so that's number 3, and then number 4 and 5 are both the leaves for this. So I'm going to come in here. Now this is the part where it kind of matters, because I need our stamp to fit on this at the end, which means I need our mask here to line up with the ones behind it. And so I don't actually want this tape on here. All right, so what I'm going to do, I'm going to put the one that I know, okay? This is a common trick, so we're going to use it over and over again. So the one that I know, and I'm going to go ahead and take the mask next. I'm going to put it over the top. I'm going to tape that one, and then I'm going to, oh, did it move? Nope, I think we're good. I'm going to move that away and take away the one that I'm done with. And so now I know that this next mask is in the right place, okay? If you miss that, you can pause it and go back. It's the beauty of video classes, right? You can watch them as many times as you like. All right, and then I'm going to do a light green here for our first layer of leaves. And then I probably shouldn't have moved it, but I think it'll be okay. Our next layer here is going to line up pretty well. Nope, no problem. It's just really making sure that everything between the two layers is going to line up when you switch from the leaves to the flowers. You also can tape down. You get a whole roll of washi tape with your project kit that I'll send you with this class. So then you can tape down your layers too if you want to keep them from shifting. They don't have to worry about things moving on you. Okay? So really, really pretty floral. All right, so where does the technique come in? What we're going to do here is we are going to add our masking paper layer. Now, if you want to, yeah, we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna add our masking paper layer. So what this is, in your kit, you're going to get a half a package of masking paper, or the masking paper is in the supply link here too. What you want to do is go ahead and use the die from the hydrangea. So it's the one that cuts out that full stamp set there, full bloom there. And you're going to cut a layer of masking paper, because what we want to do is we want to cover up the element here that we've already stamped and make another one look like it goes behind. So I always feel like I want to do the background one first, but nope, we're going to do the front one first. And if you caught that, there's a center line, you can actually kind of crack the back of this. Now, depending on where you're at and what time of year it is and what the weather is, sometimes the masking paper can be pretty strong. So what I'm going to do is actually take the masking paper and, hello again, I'm going to take it and I'm just going to squish it down on my jeans once or twice to just pick up just a little bit of fuzz, okay? So now it's just slightly less sticky than it would be straight off of the package. And I'm gonna go ahead and layer this here now over our piece, okay? And now we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna repeat our piece here. And this one's gonna go pretty quickly because I don't think I have to talk so much. So first layer, fresh freesia in circles. Second layer, remember, if you can't remember which one's which, it's pretty quick to check them out. There's a number on the corner. Although these, I think, align pretty well even without the number. It's pretty easy to see where they're supposed to go. But numbers are always a good background check. All right. And then this last one, here we go. I'm going to pick up a little more ink. You don't always have to pick it up every time. And now we have our flower in the background. Now, we have to add our leaves, which I'm not going to stamp the leaves in the background of this one, so I'm actually not going to worry too much about where they go. And I might even change the angle or something crazy. Let's do that. We're going to change the angle on this one just a little bit. There's a little bit of lightness. And then our last one is going to go right on top here. Okay, a little bit darker there for our leaf detail. All right, now the coolest part about this one is when we peel this off, then our masking paper comes right off because we used our sort of jeans technique. Now it looks like we have those two blossoms there ready, kind of layered. Now this front one is going to get a layer of ink on it. We're going to give it a little bit more definition, and of course you can save this. You can put this on like if you have extra Stampin' dimensional backing paper hanging around, this is a great thing. I usually just put them back in the case with my stamps and so, oh, I'm showing you off screen. I usually put them back in my case with the stamps and so forth so that they're easy to find for next time. But what we want to do here is go ahead and do our, I was looking for my stamp, do our watercolor wash. So let's get our stamp here too. So we have our big image here. You can see all the stuff that I store inside my stamp case. And, oh, that's the wrong stamp. That's okay, we'll need that one eventually too. So we'll get that one set aside. We need our beautiful hydrangea. I know Stampin' Up! Has had hydrangea stamps in the past, but it really doesn't matter to me which one it is. I always think they're absolutely beautiful. So, all right, so we're gonna take this and we're gonna stamp here. But before you do that, we're gonna use our watercolor wash. And so I've got a Stampin' Spritzer here. These come 2 to a package. They're super useful for using sort of a controlled water situation. And, excuse me, what I'm gonna do is I'm going to go ahead and spray water on here. Now, because I want to kind of keep this under control, I actually have a new Stampin' chamois. And what I said before was still holding true about this. If you have stray ink on your hands, if you have stray ink on the sides of your blocks, it has a tendency to transfer with watercolor paper. So you're always safest if you can have things be as clean as possible. So I've got a new chamois and I just have water filled here in the barrel of my spritzer. And I'm just gonna go ahead and I'm gonna spray this a fair amount. Watercolor paper can handle a lot. And do you see how the image is shifting a little bit? It's spreading and it's shifting and it's moving. So what I'm going to do is give that just a couple seconds to do so. And then I'm just going to go ahead and set this here. I'm going to blot it with my chamois. Okay. I know it's like, what with your chamois? But the chamois is clean. It doesn't have ink all over it. So then we have this really nice sort of watercolor wash version of our flowers. So much softer than they were before. So the colors are going to be a little bit more muted. But I think they come out really well. And now we're going to give this an extra second to dry. I have my heat tool here. Let's grab this and plug it in. And I'm going to use my heat tool to speed our drying process just a little bit. So this is kind of, I don't know, it's not really cheating, right? It's using your tools wisely. And I know that you can't hear, correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't think you can hear the heat tool. The Zoom cameras these days and Facebook cameras and stuff, they tend to blot out any extraneous background noise. So usually you can't hear the heat tool. All right, so I'm just gonna go ahead and point this here just a little bit until we get a pretty decently dry element. You can see the color getting lighter and lighter too. All right, so now we're getting that pretty dry. I'm gonna turn this off. I'm gonna set it aside for a minute because what we're gonna do next is we're gonna add our greeting to this. And our greetings come from the Greetings for All Ephemera kit. And these, you get half of a package with your kit. Oops, I'm throwing pieces on the floor. And I've used a lot of these already. But let's go ahead, we'll do, let's do congratulations. I like this one. Lots of grad things coming up. We have all of our grad party things are coming through and so forth. Tis an exciting time of the year. But one of the things that you can see right here is that the whites don't match very well on this. And that bugs me just a little bit. Sometimes I mix white and vanilla on purpose, and I'm good if I'm doing it on purpose. But I don't love it if it just doesn't go, okay? So we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna customize these to make it exactly what we want. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take my blending brush with my Fresh Freesia ink that we've been using, and I'm just going to swirl color. You'll notice I started off because I don't want that splotch to be on our greeting. And I'm going to just swirl color here onto our greeting. You can use your take your pick tool to hold it if you don't like to get your fingers in the way. But it gets naturally highlighted around the edge because that's where it picks up the extra ink as the brush comes onto the paper. And now we have an element that is a perfect match for our card here, okay? All right, so let's go ahead and do our stamping. I have my Stays On. When you're using water on projects, then Stays On is the choice ink because this is an alcohol-based ink. And so I'm gonna go ahead and ink this up. It's a fabric covered pad, so you're using it a little differently than your foam pads. So what I'm doing is twisting this just a little bit. Twist, twist, tap, tap is my strategy. Make sure you close that up right away. And now I can go ahead and stamp this here onto my blossom. And what I'm gonna do is just kind of keep twisting it until I can kind of see that it's lined up pretty close, and then I'm going to press it down. Now, sometimes it stays on, the ink will stick to the paper, which is kind of useful because then you can pick up your paper with it if it hasn't shifted, and you can just go on the back, and sometimes I'll just make sure your pad's clean, use an extra ink pad or an extra block, and you can make sure that that's really pressed down nicely so that you get a really, really detailed, precise image there on the front. So now we have our watercolor, which really muted the colors and moved around a little bit. But then we also have this sort of foreground and background effect from highlighting here with our Stays On ink. Now, I did get questions last time I showed this about people saying, oh, can you use Stays On with your photopolymer? The answer is, I mean, I use Stays On with my photopolymer. Usually I try to get these washed off pretty quickly. The Stays On ink is alcohol based, and solvent can be a little bit hard on photopolymer sometimes, but I mean, I certainly haven't noticed any long-term problems. And yes, it's going to stain. No, you should not use Stays-On Cleaner on photopolymer stamps. It's only for red rubber. But the staining doesn't bother me at all. In fact, I don't know if you could tell, but when I was inking and then stamping, it's a lot easier to see if your stamp is stained than if you're just trying to, you know, if you don't have those lines sort of delineated for you there. All right, we're gonna bring back our card here. We're going to go ahead and add some adhesive to the back. I'm gonna add way more. You're like, Meg, that is way more glue than you ever use. What's going on there? That is because the watercolor paper is a little bit stiffer than the regular cardstock. It has a little more bulk to it, and so I like to make sure that I've got plenty of the adhesive. Oops, I just threw those on the floor. Okay, well, here we'll use this. I think I cut off the edges here. Okay, Margaret says, oh, thanks, Laura. I'm glad you like the card. Margaret says, I love how you did that with just the ink pad. I'm assuming you mean with the greeting, Margaret, just to add the color there. Super simple and just a great way to have coordinating pieces. So remember to use the edges of your Stampin' Dimensionals so that you can sort of get the most out of the square footage there. And then we're going to take this and we're going to pop this here onto our card. Okay. All right, now we still, of course, need a little bit of bling. So let's go ahead and, let's go ahead and add some bling. So included in your package is half of a package of the Starburst sequins, and these are perfectly colored to go along with our project here. So you can use your fingernail or take your pick tool. I'm going to do that. We'll be fancy here, and I'm going to use the slide and stick method. There's some dots left over from before here, so they don't slide quite as well. All right, slide and stick. And let's see, we'll do one more smaller one up here, slide and stick, okay? And what I've done with my sequins is to kind of emphasize our greeting down here, to kind of draw your eye down to this area, because the greeting is really our focal point for our card, okay? So there is our first of the 4 projects that I'm going to show you tonight using our really gorgeous Thankful Garden stamp set. So, all right, you guys ready for another one? We are going to switch gears. We're going to put away our fresh freesia and pull out Melon Mambo, okay? So we're going to switch our, I actually think I'm just going to use the same, blending brush because it's handy. So when I go on to the next color with my blending brush, I'm just going to go ahead and just sort of squish it back and forth until very little color is coming out. You can see very little color is there. And now I can go on to my Melon Mambo. Now, when you do this, the reason it works is because the blending brushes are really well designed. They kind of keep the ink out at the surface of the blending brush. They don't get really deep inside there. Let's see, I might look, oh gosh, it looks like it's really deep inside there. But most of the ink is right there on the surface. So, all right. Okay, so card number 1, we'll set that aside. Card number 2. Card number 2, if you're following along in your PDF packet, is going to be the watercolor wash technique 2. We're going to do this one. It's just a little bit different this time, and we've got another piece of watercolor paper to start, and we're going to add a fun fold to this. So, all right. I love this time that you guys got full 12 by 12 sheets of the designer series paper. So you got a sheet of each of the papers, which means that you can use all kinds of different fun techniques to do fun fold cards. Hi, Joan. Good to see you in the evening. So fun, right? I'll be back tomorrow. Oh, geez. Okay, this is the... my evening voice is not as strong. Let's see. I meant to grab a cough drop before I started. So probably I'm going to have to go grab one, or I'm not going to get through 4 cards. Okay, so you guys will have to talk amongst yourselves for like the 15 seconds that it takes me to go get my cough drop. Okay, I'm back. Whew. Did you miss me? Okay, Okay, we have a debate in my family. Is this the kind that you guys like? Or do you prefer like the cherry ones that are more related to candy than anything else? I kind of like these. I think they kind of mean business. So, all right. So, like I said, we're going to grab our paper scorer here, our Simply Scored tool, and pop this on. And I'm going to show you the really simple scoring directions here for this. We're going to score at 1 inch and 2 inches. So the paper is 5 1/4 inches tall, so that it's going to layer on our quarter sheet card base. And we're going to score at 1 and 2, which basically means that we have this 4-inch section here. And then we have these 2 little 1-inch sections here on the side. Okay, with me? This piece is 4 1/4 by 5 1/2. Hi, Jennifer. So good to see you. And it's going to layer here behind our DSP layer. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and stick this down. Let's see. Would you guys like to see the finished card first again? Was that helpful? Especially if you're stamping along. I think the answer is probably yes. And when you're layering this, just go ahead and fold that back so that you can see that you've got it straight all the way around. Okay, there we go. All right, now super easy for this next one. We have 2 pieces. Oh, I just realized I don't have my watercolor paper cut. That's okay. So I have my inside layer here, and that one I'm going to go ahead and stamp with my Melon Mambo. Now, like I said, sometimes the stays on stains your ink. It does not mean that it's going to come off on your ink pads or anything like that. That ink is not going to, it's very inert. It's not going anywhere. So I can stamp on here, no problem, get a beautiful Melon Mambo, and not be worried about that black ink transferring. Oh, Jennifer says, dinner is over. Yes, it's always tricky, right? Because we're covering definitely 4 hours of folks here watching from the East Coast to the West Coast. And then we have, our friends overseas and so forth too. So if you, by the way, are overseas or in another country and you can't purchase the project kit for this, but you do want the PDF tutorial, that is available. It is on my LovenStamps Card Mart Etsy shop, and the tutorial has cutting directions and step-by-step instructions and lots of pictures. It's like I don't know how many pages it is. 12 pages. It's about 12 pages of pretty pictures and details and so forth. So you can purchase that if you'd like, or if you get the project kit, which you can only get for the US, then you get the PDF printed and it comes in your packet. All right, so we're just going to pop that there on the inside of our card, and this is going to be the front of our card. So let's go ahead and pop this on. We're making all the guts first. Make sure that you keep your adhesive right on the edge here, because you do not want to overlap the adhesive and have it seal your card shut. So don't put it on the back of the green piece, because you just want to make sure that you don't get that between trapping the layers to glue them all down. Okay, so tear tape, Seal Plus, or multi-purpose liquid glue, if you're careful, are good places to put that. Okay, good glues to put there. And then our card is a Z-fold card, but it really opens best kind of like this. So it just has like an extra flap on the front, which makes it kind of a fun extra little shape. All right, now we need a focal point. So I'm gonna bring in our watercolor paper, and hopefully I have a piece in here that's plenty big enough, which I might or might not. No worries, because I have one here from my from my full kit. All right, I do have a couple of these kits ready to go. So if anybody is interested in getting one, it's kind of like a product share. You can fill that out and fill out the form that's linked in the video description, and I can get one of those and then way to you by mail. All right, so we're gonna take this and go ahead and trim our paper. And the watercolor paper for this one is gonna be 3 inches by 4 inches. So, all right, go ahead and trim this down. And then we are going to go ahead and do our stamping on this. All right. So for this one, we're going to switch gears. We're going to use the hellebore here. And if it's not hellebore, just Feel free to tell me what else you think it is, sort of our group consensus. I'm actually going to do this one a little differently than we did our hydrangea because I'm going to start by stamping first. And the reason I'm doing that is it's just going to make it a lot easier to line things up. And I'm going to go ahead and pop this on here. Like I said, you want to close up your StazOn right away. StazOn has this little extra plastic piece in it, that piece right there. It says do not discard. That means don't throw it away. It's not garbage. It just helps to seal up that pad so that it's really well sealed and you know that you are going to have a lot less issue with evaporation there. So flip it over, squish it from the back side so that you have a really pretty, very distinct image there. Okay? All right, so let's bring in our masks now. It's the same masks as before, except this side was the hydrangea, the left side is going to be the oh goodness, hellebore. All right, so I'm gonna make my life easier for this one. I find this mask is a little trickier to line up, and so I'm going to go ahead and tape my paper in place. The first one is quite obvious. We don't really have to worry about getting this lined up. So I'm gonna pick up some Melon Mambo again. I'm gonna start off my mask and just get a little light edge in there, okay? Now before I take this away, I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna do, let's see, there's a lot of ink on here actually. So if you're layering your masks on top of each other and you have a lot of ink on your masks, you probably want to take care of just a little of that before you go on to the next mask. Because if you're gonna layer things on top of each other, again, you're getting stray ink around and you don't want to transfer that from one to the other. Just an extra tissue or paper towel around can help too. All right, we're gonna take this. I've got my mask lined up. I'm gonna put the next step on. I'm going to tape my next step down so that it doesn't go anywhere. And I'm going to slide out the one underneath. Be careful not to catch the plastic edges because you don't want to damage the masks against each other. And now I'm going to take my pink and I'm going to go over again, just a little darker color. Again, you can kind of peel that up and check it. Put it down and add a little more if you want. And then we're going to go on to the next one. This last one is the trickiest to line up. So I'm going to go ahead and pop this on top. I'm going to line up my notches and the edges of my mask. And then I'm going to put the tape on to hold the new one in place. And I'm going to slide this other one out from underneath. And now I can take my blending brush and our last color here. I'm going to get a little more ink because I want this to be pretty intense here for our last color. Really, really bright pink. And so now, I'll just double check it. Yep. Now we have those pretty florals under there. Okay. Now, I think that our leaves are going to be pretty easy to line up. So I'm going to come back to these. This is number 5. So we'll do number 4. And yeah, you can see that those are nice and easy to outline. So I'm going to take my garden green and do this here. The colors from the designer series paper are always going to be a good choice for working with something like this and getting a really nice set of color matches that are just going to be really pretty together. So we're going to go ahead and stick with our garden green for this one. All right, get a little darker on there. All right, so now we have some pretty definition. Actually, I think I'm going to do just a little more. I want to get a little more definition there. Can you see how it's really pretty, but there's not a lot of definition between the light and the dark. Hey, Joanne. Oh yeah, Joan says she just got done with dinner and sat down to watch too. Yay, I'm so happy to see you guys. Yeah, that's the nice thing about a virtual class is that you can watch it anytime. So as we know, Facebook is deleting videos after 30 days that are live. So this video is a live, so it will disappear after 30 days, but you'll be able to find this video on my, oh, much better. I like that a lot better. On my LovenStamps blog and on my LovenStamps YouTube channel. So don't worry if you're still wanting to make these cards later or you haven't finished your kit yet. You'll have plenty of time to do that. Okay. All right. Now I'm going to show you, do you guys see here where I got ink off the side of my mask? So that is not ideal. Hi, Lynn. Yay, Southern New Jersey represented. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to trim this down. Now, because I know that my mat on our card here is 3 1/4 by 4 1/4, whatever I trim from the left, right part of our card, that is something that I'm going to trim from the top bottom. So basically, I'm just going to keep the layer the same. So I've got an 1/8 inch cut off there, and I'm going to take this and I'm going to cut an 1/8 inch off here. And then the only people who are going to know that this piece is smaller than it was supposed to be are going to be us. So shh, don't say anything, okay? All right, so there is how our card layer is going to come together. Now for this one, we're going to bring in, remember we cut all of those extra green pieces from the background of our card here. We don't have to tell anyone about that either. Just remember the trick. Like don't be quiet about it because you want to remember and use it. But I'm going to take one of these and we're going to pop this here on the corner. So let's go ahead and do this. Oh, we forgot the watercolor wash part of this. So if you want to, you can. If you don't want to, you don't have to. But what you can do if you'd like is to go ahead and use our spritzer trick. Again, make sure your chamois is clean. Maybe I'll just do it on this side. Go ahead and spritz this. Let the colors sort of muddle just a little bit. You see how, I want to pick it up, but I don't want to move it. You see how they're kind of moving just a little bit at the top. They're spreading and mixing just a little. Then what I'm going to do is just blot that with my chamois to kind of stop that process. And now I have just a little bit softer color, but still nice definition and outline from the basic black, or from the Stays On Black. And then, of course, we have, you know, everybody needs a new chamois. My old chamois is pretty sad looking, so be careful if your watercolor paper is wet. You don't want to lay it down anywhere where you can pick up ink. So I'm going to go ahead and hold it carefully in my hand, which is not inky at all, right? Because no one ever gets inky fingers. I hope it's not inky at all. This is where I always say smush from the back side. It's much safer. Okay, so we're going to take this and I'm going to put it over here where it's clean and then smush from the back side of my card. I don't want to take my fingers and wipe them across there and risk picking up color and making a smudgy mess of things. Okay, so a little bit softer there with that water spritz. We have our greeting piece, which we're going to add. So for this one, we're going to take another one of these here from our Greetings Ephemera. And I'm going to show you a slightly different trick. But let's go with Oh Happy Day. I think that'll fit. I'm making grad cards here, I think, in case you hadn't noticed. We have a lot of grad cards to be doing here upcoming. I'm going to show you a trick for this one. Instead of keeping this the same color all the way through, we're going to use our blending brush trick, and this time I'm going to make it a lot darker around the edges, and I'm going to leave it a little lighter in the center. Not super light because I want it to have a pink feeling, but I am keeping it darker around the edge. So there's kind of our Oh Happy Day. I want to bring out that happy in the middle, so I'm going to just darken the O and the day. There we go. So now we have sort of that happy is sort of accentuated there with our color, okay? And then this is going to pop on here. Let's see. And of course you can easily overlap the edge. You just can't go beyond the edge of the card, but you can overlap the edge of our element here. So let's go ahead and pop some glue on this side here. Think about where it's not overlapping. Don't put glue on the parts that aren't going to be within your overlap. And then we're going to go ahead and pop a couple of dimensionals on here. Now this is a little bit gutsy of me to try and do right now before my watercolor paper is completely dry, but that's okay. I can do a little card repair later. You of course would want to wait until things are really dry to start sticking your adhesives on there. There we go. And then we're going to embellish with some of our very cute starburst sequins, and I'm going to go with the white ones on this one. And let's see, we'll pop one down here. The trick with the white ones here is that if you put some of them on elements that are not white, like the leaves or the stamped leaves, then they'll show up a little bit better. So then people won't just not see them. People won't miss them, okay? And then they add just that extra little bit of sparkle down there at the bottom. All right. All right, so that is card number 2. All right, so I don't know about you guys, but I'm making a terrible mess as we go here. There's how our card opens here. So just a little fun Z-fold. It opens probably best this way fully, as opposed to like a Z-fold card here, but you could do it this way also. So this is sort of what we're doing here. Make sense? All right, so making a terrible mess. We have cards 1 and 2, but it is a happy mess, that is for certain. All right, so going on to card number 3. We're gonna shift gears again, and I think it's time to get a new piece of paper here. We'll go crazy. We'll just flip it over to the back side. But we're gonna switch gears again because instead of our Melon Mambo, we are going to go with Garden Green and Daffodil Delight for this last one. So I love, like I said, that all these colors are featured in our designer series paper, which makes it really easy to pull out pieces that match. And so you can see this paper right here has the daffodil and the garden green in it. So we're ready to go with that one. I'm looking for my card sample here. Okay, there we go. All right, so for this one, we're gonna do just a little bit different. We're going to stamp our focal points with one more of our mask pieces here. And I'm gonna show you, actually, I'm gonna show you that in 1 second. So talk amongst yourselves again for 2 seconds. I'm gonna just run over and clean off our masks. So this is really easy to do. If you have a sink handy, it takes 2 seconds. It takes 2 seconds, and all you have to do is just run some water over. Now, water and paper don't mix very well, so I'm going to show you kind of what I like to do here. So first of all, let's get our cardstock out of the way now that I have wet fingers. And what I'm going to do is just take our masks, and I'm going to blot them here on our Stampin' Chamois. And what you want to avoid doing is damaging these little plastic pieces around. Oh, I'm so glad you guys are liking these. Oh, hi Nona, it's so good to see you. So what you want to do is avoid damaging these little plastic pieces here. Really, really important. Once you bend them, it's really hard to put them back. So usually I just take a big, my chamois or a big terry cloth towel, and I just press down and go ahead and try and get off that water. Now, of course, if I'm not in a hurry, if I'm not like using them right away, that's no big deal. I just take this and leave them sort of propped up on the side of my sink or something like that until they are completely dry. But when you're making a series of cards all together and you don't want to wait for the next color, then you have your, these are your other strategies, okay? Again, I'm being really careful not to damage those little tiny plastic pieces. They are really nice sturdy masks, really good quality, so you don't have to worry too much. Just don't be too hard on them, okay? So I'm not gonna like rub on here or anything like that with my chamois because I really wanna keep my masks in good, happy, healthy shape. All right, so we're gonna use both of our masks. So I know you're like, oh, maybe you're only gonna use one flower, Meg. Why did you have to wash your whole mask? Well, that is because we are going to use part of this as our background. You also might have seen me just flip 2 of these over. Remember, they have a number and a divot at the corner. The number and the divot show you which is right side up, okay? Because it would be really hard to match it if you got one accidentally upside down. I'm so glad you guys are enjoying these cards. Yay! So a reminder, if you're joining us late, the project kit for this is still available. You can get the project kit with the PDF directions and all of the layers and pieces and cardstock and technique things and stuff all together here. Here's a little like sneak preview of it, the window sheets for the last card, everything as a kit from my online shop. So you can request that from the link in the video description if you'd like. Okay. All right. And if not, then that's okay too. But I do appreciate you guys' support, and I'm getting really, really close to finally reaching my $1 million in career sales. So thank you to everybody who's been helping and cheering me on and so forth. I really I'm excited about that, and like designing a stamp set. So Maker Moise with Meg, we often talk about that stamp set and like what kind of things we would like to include. So I'm always happy to get everyone's input. All right, so like I said here, we're gonna use this mask a little differently. This time, instead of using, I think I want mask number 2, instead of using our mask as a front layer, I'm gonna use our mask as a back layer. And so I've got my Daffodil Delight here. Oh, Sue, thanks, I'm glad you like them. And I'm gonna use a small blending brush just because that's the one that I happen to have for yellows. And I am going to give us a little bit of brushed background color here. Now for this one, I'm gonna vary my intensity quite a bit from place to place because I like that sort of variation as our color goes. I'm gonna try and keep it sort of ombre so it's not super abrupt. But there we have some light and some dark elements. I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna pop some on here too. And I might not even go all the way up on the mask, I think. We'll just do about like that much. There we go. Okay, you're gonna see the rest of it's gonna get covered up. So this is gonna be our background, which is just gonna add some extra pretty color for us. And I'm gonna close my studio doors here for 1 second. All right, and now we're gonna work on our card layer. So this piece here is going to be our hellebore again, but I'm gonna do it a little differently. So when we did this card, we use a really intense all over color. I'm gonna show you how to do some selective masking. And so I have my stamp here. I'm gonna go ahead and stamp our image first. Stamping the image first when you're working with StazOn can be a really great trick because it's not going anywhere. Once it's dry, it's gonna stay right where you want it. And it also means that it's easier to line up your masks and so forth. So, hi Rosalie, good to see you. Remember, pick up your stamp and then run your extra block across the back to get a really, really nice clean image there on your paper. All right, so we're looking for mask number 1, which it's cute little helpful number up there at the corner. And we're gonna go ahead and pop this on here. And now we're gonna take our yellow, and instead of going all over with our color, what I wanna do is I want sort of the cup of the flower to be the darkest, the center part right in here. So I am gonna start right in the center, and I'm gonna pick up a little more color here, and tap just a little off. I'm gonna go ahead and burnish that yellow right there in the center, and I am not going to go out to the edges of our flower, okay? I just want that to be right like that. So now we have this really pretty white flower with a little bit of a yellow center, okay? Now, this is the set of masks where they really like to be, they really like to have some help in lining up. I think the next one we can do without help from our washi tape, but the one after that was definitely gonna need some washi tape to line up. So I'm gonna get this one set here. And now I'm gonna come back with my blending brush and my daffodil, and same, I'm gonna keep my color mostly right in there towards the center, okay? So I'm giving it a little darker definition, and now we have sort of, you can see that definition kind of coming through just a little bit. Now this is the one we don't wanna move yet. We're gonna keep it in place, dun, 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 as I replace it here. And now I'm going to bring in the third mask, which is this one. I'm going to line everything up without nudging it. And then I want to take that mask out from underneath, remember? So this is where I'm going to put that piece of washi tape, and you get washi tape in your project kit. That's how great I feel about this. It's good stuff. So I can peel this one up, pull out the underneath one, and now I can do my last step. And for this one, I'm gonna make this yellow really intense, and I am gonna go out towards the edges because that is going to give us just a little bit of shadow definition on the edges of our flower, okay? All right, then finally peel this up. And can you see all the detail in that flower and how the yellow really comes through to sort of highlight the crevices and so forth. I'm really, really happy with how this one comes through. All right, then we're going to go ahead and add our green for our leaves. And again, you guys know how this one works now, right? This one's pretty easy to line up, and we're going to add our green here with garden green. Remember, just tap off on your scratch paper to give yourself a chance to avoid getting a really big splotch. And then we're gonna come back with our last. Now, if I made that green lighter, it would be easier to see the green here without having to make it so dark. But I made that one pretty dark, so I'm gonna have to follow it up here with a quite dark layer. So swirl to pick up more ink. Get this set and then pop this on here. Once you have sort of exhausted that ink that's right there on the surface of your blending brush, you really get the best results from just picking up more ink. Just swirling endlessly with the same small amount of ink isn't going to make a big difference. So, all right, there we go. We have a nice crisp line there with a light and a dark green, both. Okay. All right, so now let's work on some layers here. We're gonna pop this on. I'm gonna do this a little bit off center just to be a little bit different. And we're gonna pop this here all the way to, if you don't like this, you can do yours centered, but I'm gonna do mine all the way to the right. That's one of the things I love about multi-purpose liquid glue. Did you see how long I had to keep squishing that around to get it where I wanted? Hi, Adrian. Oh, good to see you. All right, so now we have our sort of off-center piece here, which is really nice because that pink offsets. This is Bubble Bath, actually, and it offsets really well with our garden green layer. So I'm gonna pop this on, but I'm not gonna glue it yet, actually, because what I wanna do is take 2 of the strips. I don't know about you guys, but I often get strips of designer series paper sort of floating around in the bottom of my designer series paper bag. And so one of the things that I like to do is design cards to use some of those. So we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna pop some of these on here. We're gonna put a strip there and a strip here, and get this all the way kind of out to here and here. Now the reason I didn't glue this down yet is because it's so much easier to trim these edges when you can flip to the back side. These papers, a lot of them are black and white on the back side, which is really pretty too, which means you could do any color scheme that you want. You're just gonna use a blending brush to add color to those pages. And then you could do, I don't know, teal, pretty peacock, Lost Lagoon, colors that aren't represented in the paper but would be really pretty together. So, all right, remember we have our leaves here that we saved from before, and I'm gonna pop these on, except this one, I think it's gonna be a little too much to have all those. So I'm gonna save these for another card, and we're gonna pop this on like here. This one right here, we are going to use our die cut. So there's 2 whole sets of dies for these, one for the hydrangea and one is for the hellebore. And we're going to go ahead and pop the washi tape on. I know that magnetic plates are often really popular for holding dies in place. I still love the washi tape. Sometimes the magnetic plates have a tendency to jump on me, and that is always sad when they jump and either mess up my die cut or, you know, catch another die, which is terrible. Okay, in the realm of reality, it's not terrible, but you know what I mean, right? It's a stamping catastrophe. All right, so let's come back with this one. We have our pretty die cut here, and then we'll go ahead and pop this down. Now, one of the things that I like to do is use my top layers to adhere bottom layers. And by that, I basically mean I'm gonna put some dimensionals on here that are going to cover up the adhesive points. So I don't have to worry too hard about gluing those papers. I can just very easily add some dimensionals that cover those things up and then go across there. So now we have this really pretty foreground here with some really pretty flowered background, right? Now, of course, we're not done here because we need to have a greeting. And for this one, I'm gonna pick up one of our one of our, hey, our grad card theme here is going well. You did it. Definitely is going to work for this one. But I like the black greetings here because they're just a really nice contrast. And I think I'm going to come back to that edging piece here. That was really handy. And just use an edge of a Stampin' Dimensional to attach this here, right at that point. And then finally we have our colors here from our Starburst sequins that are included in the kits. Hi Becky, oh yay! The morning gang is arriving. So I think everybody's done with their dinners and tuning in. So if you're just tuning in now, this is the third card of our project series tonight, using the Lovely Garden Suite for our Lovely Garden Suite Escape. And if you are missing, you're like, oh my gosh, what's the project kit for this? How do I get all those pieces ready to go? There's a link in the video description and also in the comments here on Facebook, and you can request your own card kit with all of the consumables that you'll need for this. So, all right, so there is our fun card. So let's see. We have, we're gonna put our daffodil away because we're gonna go on to another color. We're gonna go back to freesia actually. But we have card number 3 and card number 2 with our fun sort of narrow Z fold, and then our card number 1 here with our Fresh Freesia watercolor wash. So there's our 3 so far. If you're not convinced that Thankful Garden is a set that you need, well, I'm not, maybe the next card will convince you, but I'm a huge fan of this stamp set. I think it's beautiful. And even though we're using all of the greetings from the ephemera here, you can see how many of these I've used. Even though we're using the ephemera greetings, the greetings that are in the stamp set are excellent too, actually. And the 5th card that I'm showing you tonight, the one that I already did for Make Our Mornings with Meg, it does use these greetings down here. So don't feel like the stamp set is like standalone with no greetings. So. All right, this last card is actually my favorite of all of them, and that is because it is a clear card. Now, if you have never made one of these before, I'm going to share some extra little tips that will make your life easier. First of all, when you put your card base down, remember where you put it because it will disappear. You'll lose it, and then you'll be like feeling around all these places to try and find it. If you have a flashlight, you can shine it at like an angle and it'll be shiny enough that you'll see your card base. But your card base is going to disappear. So just know ahead and plan for it so that you don't lose it. Let's see. Oh, Lori had to sign off for grandparent duty momentarily. No problem. Yeah, good thing. See you in the morning. But when you use your clear card base, you really need to plan to score this. There you can see my up reflection. It doesn't fold very easily. It only folds if you insist on it. So we're going to insist basically by using our Simply Scored board, and I'm going to score this at 4 1/4 inches, and I am really going to make sure I get a good score here. Okay, try to keep your fingers off the card base as much as possible so that you don't leave fingerprints on it everywhere. If you really get fingerprints everywhere, you can go back and you can remove those with like a polishing cloth or something. But we're gonna go ahead and fold this then on our score line, which is sometimes easier said than done. Okay, having that score line is gonna make it be just that much easier to fold. And then we're going to use, and I never use this, so my bone folder making a rare appearance here on our videos. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to score and use my bone folder. So, all right, I'm all over the place here with my paper. We're going to use our bone folder to make sure we score that. And that is going to give us this really pretty fun window sheet card base. Okay, now, trick with a window sheet card base, there's a big fingerprint at the corner, is that any adhesive that you put on here is going to show through to the next layer. So I'm going to teach you how to do this, and you can use these set of tricks over and over again. We're going to do this so that we're going to hide all of the adhesive layers. Okay. All right. So we're going to ink this up. We're going to give ourselves some hydrangea there and fresh freesia for the inside of our card. We're going to layer in purple. We're going to use this designer series paper layer, which perfect if you have a designer series paper that is not directional on either side. You want to watch that and make sure you're getting that oriented the correct way if it is dimensional. And we are, ooh, that's my clean one. Yes, here we have compare and contrast. So that's my clean, beautiful one. This is my cracked one that I've had for a billion years. Like, kind of. I only have one Stampin' Chamois that I use on a regular basis. Is that crazy? I don't know. My friend Mary Ellen has like 17. Maybe I should branch out and use, should I use this? I don't know. Maybe you'll see it tomorrow morning and it'll have like stains on it already, but I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to use my stamp here, and we're going to go ahead and do our hydrangea one more time. I'm going to show you a little different way to use it than we did the first time because we did that watercolor wash. So this time we're going to use this as a stamped and cut out element. Again, close your stays on pad right away. I'm going to give us a good ink there. All right. And now we're going to go ahead and we're going to use our masks. All right. And since I'm using this one, hopefully I don't have to worry too much about the color transferring. And I need I'm going to get that pink out of there a little bit and go back to Fresh Freesia. Again, I just inked this, so I'm going to tap away to get rid of that like big, like huge blotch of ink that's going to come off right at the beginning. I don't really want that. Okay, so now we have our pretty outline. I'm gonna go on to number 2, and because there's very little ink on here, I am gonna go ahead and just press it down onto my chamois. These chamois are like ink magnets. They really just pull the ink right off of things, which is really exciting. So look, oh, I'm using my chamois now. It is no longer pristine. That's okay, I'll survive. We'll be okay, right? Just talk me down a little. All right, so I'm gonna take my blending brush and I'm gonna do color number 2, which is the same. You can mix and match colors too, but I am kind of a big fan of just using the same ones and getting darker and darker. And then we have number 3 here. And again, with that image that we stamped first this time, it is really pretty easy to get these lined up. So I'm just gonna kind of shift until we see all of the points matching and then pop this on here. And I like this one to be nice and dark. Isn't that just like totally gorgeous? I'm a huge fan. Now the other thing you can do is you can use this last mask to add Wink of Stella. You can Wink of Stella over the top of that, and then you're gonna get sparkling stuff just in the places where you have added that last little mask. So really, really cool kind of extra technique. So I know I could have done Wink of Stella tonight too, but I figured we had plenty that we were covering between the Stampin' Spritzers and the watercolor and the stays on the blending brush and the masking paper and all the things. So hopefully you guys have learned something tonight. If you really have enjoyed our Sweet Escape tonight, watch, because I'm going to do another Sweet Escape in August. So that'll be coming up to order like through the month of August, and it's going to be kind of a big, like, it's going to be a big party, a big celebration, sort of that road to million celebration. So I'm excited to have you guys come along for that. So watch for more information about that Sweet Escape too. So, all right, second color there with our darker green. And now we have this really pretty image here. So this is going to be die cut very cleanly with our other die here, the one that is the hydrangea shape instead of the hellebore shape. And I'm gonna pop this here like that. And please step with me over to our die cut machine. All right, I can pick up all the stuff that I dropped on the floor here during the course of our class tonight, but it'll be there fine later. So, all right, with the door closed, I don't have Pepper coming in to, see what all is, whoa, as long as I don't trip over anything. Oh yeah, Sue says the masks turn out pretty flowers, don't they? I find them to be absolutely gorgeous. So here is this one. So just wait, because like I said, this is my favorite card of all the ones that I'm showing you tonight. So, all right, they get even prettier. So now let's talk about how we're going to layer these. I have some layering tricks, some string tricks, because one of the things that's included in your kit is this gold thread. And so I'm going to give you a trick for using the gold thread. And we're going to use one more of our elements here. And we'll do hello on this one, I think. Just a little one. And I kind of want this to be one of the black and white elements. So on the greetings for all ephemera, you get 2 sheets of white greetings that are different, and then another sheet of black greetings with a white writing. So lots of possibilities there. All right, so let's put these layers together. Now, a couple tricks. When you're working with this, you are going to find that adhesive grabs very quickly if you're using Seal, Stampin' Seal or Seal Plus, okay? You have a little more time still to work with your multi-purpose liquid glue, but if you're using Seal, once you touch down, you're not moving. So you want to be very exact when you're placing. So this is the back of my card, and because I'm using multi-purpose liquid glue, I'm going to give it just, you know, count to 10 or something to get it to start to stick. But can you see how that adhesive is showing there through the front of our card? It is not pretty at all, okay? So now what we need to do is cover that up. So on the back of our card, I have our cardstock. On the front of this card back, so I'm on the back side of our card base, but the front of it, the inside of the card, I'm gonna layer here. So basically for both the front and the back of the card, I'm gonna layer something under, then we'll have our clear card layer, and then something on top, okay? So there is gonna be sort of the inside of our card, kind of with me on here, so see how that works. So cardstock on the back, cardstock inside. Now we're gonna do the inside of our card. And you would think that I would go ahead and glue this on first, but I really can't do that. I'm gonna set it in place, and I'm setting it because one of the coolest things about clear cards is that you get credit, like credit for all of the layers, because they could all show through. So this green layer is cut smaller than the purple layer, so that even though it's not like part of that whole phase of our card there, it's gonna look like it is from the front. When the card's closed, it looks like it's got extra layers on it. Isn't that clever? I haven't done a clear card base for a while, but I'm a big fan. So I'm gonna set that in there for now, and I'm gonna pop some Stampin' Dimensionals here on the back of our front piece. So our front piece is gonna be our focal point. I'm gonna use more dimensionals than I usually do. And I'm gonna flip this over, hold that all in place, and I'm going to pop this on like so, okay? Now that I know where the hydrangea is gonna go on the front, I can flip this to the inside, and I can put my adhesive on the plastic here and know that my green layer is gonna stick to this. But I don't want that adhesive to be out on the edges. I don't want it to show from the front. That would not be pretty. So again, I'm gonna hold my green exactly where it needs to be on this layer. And then I'm gonna close my card on it, and I'm gonna sing my little song that says, multi-purpose glue takes some time to dry. So if you don't wait, it will move. This is a terrible song. I'm sure that we could do better. Anyway, if you have suggestions for a melody that to the song that we should compose to sing while waiting for our glue to dry, let me know. Okay, so there we have our layers there with the pretty side on the in and pretty side on the front and the back. So all 4 layers are going to work together to build our card front, but layered strategically to cover up all the adhesive, all right? Okay, so trick for you on our greeting. So we're gonna put our greeting kind of down here. Maybe we'll overlap our leaves just a little bit. It's okay down here, but I feel like it's more connected to the card if we put it up here. And we're gonna give it some extra decoration. So I'm going to take my gold thread and I'm gonna wrap it around my fingers like 3 times. And then I'm going to trim the end, okay? And then I'm gonna take these loops, so they were together. I'm going to take these loops and I'm going to spread them out, okay? So I'm kind of still pinching here, but I'm artistically moving them around like this to be sort of randomly spaced in a nice way. Oh yeah, I need Tucker to accompany me. Yes, I probably should. Actually, he would probably get a kick out of that. So if you don't know, my son is a high schooler and he's a jazz trombone player. He's quite accomplished, so we'll see. But yeah, maybe I'll have to recruit him. Actually, he was at an awards ceremony tonight for school, so he wasn't around to accompany me. But all right, so we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna arrange these on the front. I know that my fingers are in the way, but I've gotten them arranged here so that I can flip this to the back side. And now what I'm gonna do, once I have those settled where I want them, is take my adhesive edging from my Stampin' Dimensional. Helps if you cut it ahead, but sometimes, you know, just doesn't happen. And I'm gonna wrap that all the way around my, press that onto the back of my greeting strip here. There we go. And trap some of those layers that fall across the back of my greeting, okay? All right, I got some showing here and I don't want that, so I'm gonna squish that back in. I'll do a little trimming. I'm trimming away the extra dimensional piece. There we go. And then if you like the little edges from your ribbon end, you can leave them. These are a little bit frayed, so I'm gonna go ahead and trim them. Little tiny bits of gold twine flying everywhere. Very fun. Okay, now we have our circle piece here ready to go. So use those adhesives to make your life easier, hold everything in place so that you can go back and go ahead and stick it down. So there is our hello, and that little gold accent there really helps to emphasize that whole area of our card. All right, but we still have some of our starburst sequins left, so I'm gonna go ahead and use them. We're gonna go ahead and we're gonna pop a couple on here. So I'm gonna put slide one and stick down here. Slide another one and stick kind of out here towards the end of our greeting, and then I'm going to take one of these smaller ones, and I want to create sort of a triangle effect that draws your eye down. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to just pop that one way out there actually, so that we have this little triangle here that kind of draws your eye between the flower and our greeting and our thread. Okay, so there is that fun card. Yay, thanks Joanne, I'm glad you like this one too. All right, so let's look at our 4 cards. Oh, actually, we'll look at our 4 cards, and then I'll show you the 5th one. I'll remind you that one because it's included in your PDF packet too. So we have our clear card and our sort of selective masking card. We have our card here with our fun fold and our watercolor wash. And then we have our original watercolor wash with a really deep wash, and then that highlighting that we did there on the front. So some really pretty cards here. Now the last card that I have is really, really simple, and it basically uses similar techniques to what we did on our flower here, except instead of die cutting this, I've just gone ahead and put that on a whole basic white layer. The background here is crushed curry, and the top layer here is lemon lolly. Sorry, lost it for a second. So one of the great things about the project kit for this is that you're going to get all of these cardstock colors here ready to go, including a bunch of basic white, so you can make a lot of card layers. So there's 3 sheets of each color and 6 sheets of basic white included in the kit. There is a half a package of watercolor paper, which gives you 5 of those sheets. There's a half package of masking paper, which gives you 5 of those sheets. A half package of the Greetings for All Ephemera, which gives you 3 sheets of those. You get a half package of the Starburst sequins, a third of a roll of the gold twine, and your washi tape. A half package of the designer series paper, so it's 6 of the 12 by 12 sheets, and a whole window sheet. So this is half of a package of window sheets, so it's 1 12 by 12. Okay. All right. So like I said, link in the video description. If you are interested in getting a hold of that kit, I'll have them for just a couple more days, I think, while supplies last. So, and then of course the printed PDF. If you really loved the cards and so forth that we did tonight, and you really would like the PDF to print at home and have, this is available in my Etsy shop. So there's a link in the video description for that if you want to jump on over and snag that. And that would be, you know, then you'll have all the pictures and all of the step-by-step directions and all of the cutting stuff and so forth for the class. So, But really, I think you could probably make the cards pretty well from our video tutorials too. And like I said, this video will be here on the LovenStamps Facebook page and for 30 days until Facebook deletes it. And then it'll be starting as soon as I get it processed tonight. It'll be on the LovenStamps YouTube channel too, and the LovenStamps blog. So those are relatively indefinitely as far as we know. So that you can view. And like I said, when I'm watching a video class and I'm trying to stamp something along with it, I'll like watch a little bit, pause the video, and then do what I need to do, and then watch a little bit and pause video and do stuff. So it really gives you a chance to kind of work through everything at your own pace, which is just beautiful. So, well, everyone, thank you for joining me tonight for this fabulous set of projects featuring the Thankful Garden stamp set. This is a really outstanding stamp set, and I think Sue said it, it's the masks just really make it. It makes beautiful, beautiful florals, and you saw how quickly those go. Once you've done one or two, they really go in a super speed. So you can make a whole field of flowers. So with May Day coming up tomorrow, you could make a whole bouquet of May Day flowers for someone special. So with that, I hope to catch you for Maker Memories with Meg, which will be at our normal time tomorrow morning at 9:30 a.m. Central Time. And that's Tuesday and Thursday if you're watching a review later and you're like, what's tomorrow? Tuesday and Thursday at 9:30 a.m. Central Time on the LovenStamps Facebook page, and then gets posted right after that onto the LovenStamps YouTube page. So also, if you didn't know, you can subscribe to get my blog posts in your email inbox. So if you're like, oh, I hate missing the cards that Meg does, sometimes Facebook doesn't notify me or whatever, guess what? You can just go to my blog, go to LovenStamps, click on one of the blog posts, and on the right-hand column, whichever one's right for you, in the right-hand column, there's going to be a box that says subscribe to Meg's blog. And if you go ahead and put your email address in there, then you will get, you can subscribe to my newsletter too if you want, but you could subscribe only to my blog. If you subscribe only to my blog, I will only send you blog posts, but those, as soon as I blog something, which is usually the Maker Memories with Meg posts, then you will get notification of that in your email inbox with a big picture and a chance to click through and see those. So I know a lot of people actually get that and find it really helpful. So, all right, everyone. It's been a really fun evening, and I appreciate all of you guys who are able to join me. It's fun to see some faces that I don't usually see on the morning edition of Maker Memories with Meg, and it's really fun to see everybody who's able to pop in this evening. So, oh, you're welcome, Rosalie. I'm glad you like the cards. Yeah, Jennifer says definitely go back and slow it down. I know, I always want to like get the idea out. I want to get the idea across and give you all the tips that I can to make your stamping easier. But I also fully know that sometimes slower is better. So if you're watching later, especially on YouTube, super easy. Use that little gear button, slow me down, okay? You can make it 0.8x, you can make it 0.7x, you can make it 0.5, although I think maybe my voice would sound a little weird that way. Or if I'm not fast enough for you, you can speed me up. But take advantage of that. Like, it's nice to be able to go at your own pace, and that's one of the things that I love about these virtual classes. So thanks everybody for signing up and joining me. Oh, Jennifer said, no, it's okay. She just needs to go back. Yeah. I don't know. I get some comments sometimes. I'm kind of a quick talker at times. Maybe. Just maybe. Anyway. But yeah, thank you to everybody who could join us live and join us in the comments later. I love to hear what you guys are thinking about cards. And I will go ahead and work on sending some PayPal invoices for the people who I know have been ordering their kits tonight during our video. So watch for those to come through pretty soon. And I will look forward to seeing you again. So happy stamping, everyone. Enjoy your crafting. Make the most of it. Share some joy with your cards. And I will see you soon. Good night.